Kira. I will hunt you down wherever you're hiding, and I will eliminate you. I am justice.
This scene is the first confrontation between the main character, Yagami Light, Kira, and his rival L from Death Note. Last time we discussed the manipulation tactics of Light. You can watch it after you finish this video. In this video, you will learn some psychological warfare secrets that Detective L employs. Consider this video as part 1. I will launch part 2 depending if you watch until the end. So help us reach the 10k mark, or I'll write your name in the Death Note.
We'd like to apologize for the interruption. As of now, we're bringing you a live worldwide broadcast from Interpol's ICPO.
The abrupt interruption stopped the news, indicating a form of emergency. People in the background seem in chaos, which means they didn't get a heads up. Sometimes to fool the adversary, you have to fool others, from the people around him or even the people a part of your team. And with this, the scheme is being set.
I head up an international police task force which includes all member nations. I am Lind L. Taylor, otherwise known as L.
L claims himself as the leader of an international police task force, a sort of unified symbol of the police, the main opposition to Kira. He has created an us versus them dynamic, putting a bullseye on his back, setting himself up as the main target, a key piece to the plan. Keep watching.
Criminals around the world are being murdered by a serial killer. I consider this crime to be the most atrocious act of murder in history. I will not rest until the person or persons responsible are brought to justice. Kira, I will hunt you down. I will find you.
Next, L declares Kira as public enemy to the police, challenges Kira directly as himself, saying, I will do this or I will do that, promising to arrest him. So why didn't he ask him to surrender to the police, instead of inciting this aggression? In real life, the police wouldn't try to trigger a culprit who is this powerful, who they perceive to be this powerful. So in the anime, this is the way L seems to do things. He has little regard to the chaos he incites. The world police are desperate since their enemy is really elusive. So the only way to force him to make a mistake is through agitating him.
Kira, I've got a pretty good idea what your motivation might be, and I can guess what you hope to achieve. However,
this is a preparation for clicking the trigger word.
What you're doing right now is evil.
You think I'm evil? I am justice! I protect the innocent and those who fear evil. I'm the one who will become the god of a new world that everyone desires. All those who would oppose that god, they are the ones who are truly
Okay, so this is the first lesson. Number 1. Inflame the person by targeting their weakness or vice. Sun Tzu said, if your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Most of us have fragile egos, and even the ones with great reassurance have weaknesses that can be used to trigger their fears and anxieties. The right trigger at the right time can lead someone to self-destruct. Think about it. For someone who likes to play God like Kira, killing criminals, hiding behind his elegant sense of justice, surely is moved by the vice of pride. The vice of all those who have a deep need to prove themselves superior and cast judgments on others, on the least righteous. So what did L do? He declared him the enemy of the very thing he claims to possess. He declared Kira the enemy of justice, specifically the ability to judge as a deity, since L had a hunch that Light had a god complex. He picked the right word, which was evil. What are you doing is evil. So, Kira's biggest mistake was made because of his inflammatory reaction to prove his superiority. His fatal flaw is his vanity. Light projects a certain image of perfection. He's young, he's handsome, women are attracted to him, he's very successful in his school, he's well regarded by others, he's a genius. These types of characters tend to have one fatal flaw, but that fatal flaw is fatal. So this is when Kira really lost, in my opinion. The moment you are no longer under the radar, it's only a matter of time and resources before you get caught or make a mistake. So how to find weakness? L learns about someone's weakness by learning how they see themselves. A person's virtue often is a vice in disguise. A person's agreeableness can hide gullibility. A person's generosity could hide a need for displaying moral superiority. Bravery could be hiding a fear of not being strong enough or man enough. So, what image is the person trying to project? That is the question. In order to figure out someone's weakness, learn about what people idealize, what they admire, what they are likely to do anything for, what they value, what they are insecure about. Actually take time to write this on paper, make it an exercise, you can write your name or another, and answer the question for each person. L focuses more on the unconscious than the conscious behavior, the body language and the inconsistency between the verbal and nonverbal, between what you say and what you do, between what you say and how you say it. Things like the tone, the pitch, your posture, things of that nature. This can be seen in how L puts Light in situations where he can't control his reaction. That's why L keeps challenging Light's pride. We will see another scene from Mr. Robot in how he uses Tyrell Wellock's pride against him to take him to another place.
I thought I saw you. What are you doing here? It's you, Elliot. I have a lot of things here.
He has a vulnerability. He's an arrogant prick, and he's proud of it. He cares what you think about him, even though he probably hates that he does. Tyrell Wellock's greatest asset is his hubris, but it's also his flaw. And that's your exploit.
It would be nice. You eat here? This place?
One of the ways to stir a person is by targeting uncontrollable emotions like hate, love, vanity, or by dangling the opportunity of an easy victory in front of their face. Many won't be able to resist. This way you force them to act before they are ready. You disrupt their plans and timeline in a way, and you make them look ridiculous. So two other things to note here before we move on. The fact that no one made a sound after Land L. Tyler died, which was weird. The second is the symbolism in this frame.
I'll show the world what happens when you cross me. The entire world is watching. L.
Kira behind L the moment he wrote his name. It might mean that Kira is really a coward at heart. But what do you think? Write that in the comment section.
I had to test this just in case, but I never thought it would actually happen. Kira, it seems you can kill people without having to be there in person. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't just witnessed it. Listen to me, Kira. If you did indeed kill Lynd L. Taylor, the man who you just saw die on television, I should tell you that he was an inmate whose execution was scheduled for today. That was not me.
What?
Number 2. The use of decoys and traps. Now we know that L used the prisoner as a decoy to trick Kira into revealing himself. A decoy here is a fake version of a person, item, and so on, that lures the target into doing something. It might be a way to gain time or to escape danger. This tactic is quite common. In fact, the Allies used that against the Germans in World War II. They created decoyed tanks to confuse the enemy, and it worked. Dictators in history also used doubles to trick assassins. These are referred to as political decoys. Even the greatest dictator who ever lived, Aladdin, had another Aladdin to take a hit for him. Hackers also use this by creating a less sophisticated replica of a website, like Facebook for example, and once you click that link and insert your information, you are compromised. This is referred to as phishing, with a PH. If you are interested in the subject, you can read Kevin Mitnick's book on the art of deception. More on the subject of decoys in my video on how to conceal your intentions, part 1.
If you did indeed kill Lynd L. Taylor, the man who you just saw die on television, I should tell you that he was an inmate whose execution was scheduled for today. That was not me.
What?
The police arrested him in absolute secrecy, so you wouldn't have heard about him on TV or through the internet. It appears that not even you have access to information about these types of criminals.
L continues to show how uninformed and weak Kira is by saying statements like, even you can't get this type of access. This is as discussed before to make him chase the shadow of L, and thus exposing himself more and more. Why go to the target if you can make them come to you? Second, to show to the world that they aren't dealing with a god, but merely an ignorant human, a false god. This step is quite crucial, especially with the rise of the popularity of Kira. If L makes them believe that he's not really someone important, they will be more likely to cooperate in the future. For example, if they know who Kira is, they can give information to the police without being afraid.
He got you there.
But I assure you, L is real. I do exist. Now, try to kill me.
You bastard.
What's wrong?
What the
Hurry up.
hell is going
Come
on?
on, right
He's really
now.
taking this
Kill
too
me.
far. You can
What's
stop
the
this.
matter?
Can't you do it?
Well, Kira, it seems that you can't kill me after all.
So there are some people you can't kill. You've given me a useful hint.
Let me return the favor. I'll tell you something that I think you'll find interesting. Although this was announced as a worldwide broadcast, the truth is, we are only broadcasting in the Kanto region of Japan.
L gives Light a hint that they know he is in the Kanto region of Japan. In real life, the police won't give this type of information, but we are dealing with an anime. L often uses pressure tactics, which is number 3. Pressure tactics do what they say they do. They put pressure on someone to do something. It disrupts their timeline in a way. So when L was saying, "Kill me right now," he was putting a deadline on the act of killing, pressuring Kira to do something. That's one way of doing it. A salesman might apply the law of scarcity and tell you that there are only 2 items available to pressure you to buy quickly. Another way of creating pressure is providing a better alternative, product or so on. You feel pressure to buy the best because the rest is garbage. L sharing the hint was basically to trap Light, letting him know that they are getting closer to him, and that it's merely a matter of time. He also uses the same ploy in this scene, which Kira didn't really fall for.
ICPO? They're saying that in response to the Kira murders, Interpol has decided to dispatch a force of 1,500 investigators to Japan.
Oh, this is the exact same trick he used last time. The ICPO sure is stupid.
If you ask me, this is nothing more than a desperate attempt to shock Kira in the hopes that he'll reveal himself somehow.
Number 4. Start from zero, study the victimology, and find the first victim. This point has to do more with L and how he thinks.
The police treated your first killing as an unrelated incident, but in actuality, the first of your victims was a suspect in Shinjuku. Of all the criminals that have recently died of heart attacks, this one's crime was by far the least serious. Furthermore, his crime was only ever reported inside Japan. First victim was little more than an experiment, which means that you haven't been killing for very long.
Think about it. You are the world's greatest detective, you notice a pattern of murder, criminals from all over the world start dying at a fast pace. How will you prove that someone is behind this? Is this an act of God or humans? Is it a loner or a group? L always asks himself, what do I know for sure? Answer, I know that criminals are dying of heart attacks. Therefore, to make a profile of the killer, he has to study the victimology. What's the obsession with criminals? Is this killer an avenger driven by vengeance? A vigilante driven by a need for judgment and punishment? A criminal organization eliminating competition, or some secret government or international organization? Avengers tend to have one or few targets, which makes it unlikely, since the murders are by thousands, unless the target is an institution. The criminals have different charges and with different nationalities. L decides to continue his investigation by trying to figure out the first victim in the series of murders, similar with serial killers or any types of criminal, because it is most likely to provide more info on Kira, like geographical location, personality, criminal source of information, motive, modus operandi, anyway. The first victim is often closer to home, and the culprit usually is less skilled during this period. This provides him with a lot of information. Anyway, so how to translate this to your world? Basically, boil things down to first principles. Before you start deducing things, examine what are the things that you know for sure. Avoid making too many assumptions. Trace the problem to the source and investigate its first appearance. Observe and test in the real world instead of quickly jumping to conclusions. If a friend or girlfriend or a parent changed their behavior, try to go back to the first time you noticed that behavior. That way you're more likely to know why they do what they do. However, this is not a normal investigation, so L has to be really creative. His initial assessment of the criminal profile helped him in this scene by targeting the pride as we mentioned before. I remember reading this in a book about forensic psychology. A profiler mentioned that snipers and vigilantes have a superiority complex, hence why snipers kill from afar like a god figure, or why vigilantes take matters into their own hand and punish the less righteous, not out of revenge, but for judgment, as discussed before.
It'll be too long now before I am able to sentence you to death. Naturally, I'm very interested to know how you're able to commit these murders without being present, but I don't mind waiting a little bit longer.
You can answer all of my questions when I catch you.
Let's meet again soon, Kira.
L ends this scene with an absolute display of confidence, condemning Kira to death, which plays into his major plan, as we discussed before, bruising Light's ego, pushing him to make more mistakes. These videos are for entertainment purposes. You might learn a thing or two about manipulation or psychological warfare in the meantime. So, don't be stupid and try to piss people off thinking you're some type of big shot. Don't try to bully or verbally abuse them. Use the knowledge you know to protect yourself and get smarter. Real life is different from anime. The police don't get involved in pissing contests with criminals, for example, and they have to respect procedures since evidence can be thrown out by a judge. Watch my other videos as well, they're very informative. So, if you like this video, like it, comment, subscribe, share, write your name in the death note, and yeah, if you haven't watched my other video on Light Yagami, click on the video here. I'll see you there.